What's up, y'all? I'm here, not in my car. But yes, I'm here for the full moon, super full moon in Cancer vibe sesh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Let's do it. So a lot has gone on, and I haven't made any videos. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I've been feeling very practical, and it is Capricorn season. So I'm just going with the flow of the sun's motion. You feel me? But yes, we've had the new year, so happy 2026. We made it, we made it, we made it. Okay. What else has gone on? A whole bunch of other astrological things. But I'm gonna stick to the full moon in this video. What house does Cancer reside in your birth chart? I'll open up and say that Cancer is in my 5th house. So the culmination of, I would say, just inner child and inner teenager healing due to the way I was nurtured, nourished, mothered throughout my life. So what has culminated is the fact that I'm fully capable of taking care of myself, and it is very invigorating, and it feels so good to nourish myself and to trust myself to be able to do it as life goes on, and not just for a temporary amount of time. I know that's definitely something that I've struggled with. Like, I've always known that I could do whatever I put my mind to, but I was always worried about being able to maintain it, and I was always worried about people taking things from me, like, that I worked hard for. People not believing that it was me that did something, or people taking the credit for my hard work. So I would say over the past 6 months, I've done a lot of work, and I'm hyped to see what happens next. So yes, Capricorn season got me feeling practical, got me on my adulting, and it's just a beautiful thing to see and feel growth, because it's not that I don't have similar thought processes, but I have learned so much on how to not just identify myself with impulses and urges that have nothing to do with what I'm actually working towards, which are things that will be sustainable in the long term. So yeah, guys, I'm kind of hyped, and I'm kind of feeling myself. So, with that being said, maybe others of you out there are feeling proud of yourself, and I want everybody to, because look, waking up every day, knowing and not knowing and things like that, y'all, don't let nobody make you feel like that ain't good enough. Shoot. And don't feel crazy. Don't feel crazy, because there are entities, energies, institutions, and things that are out here that don't want you to be able to tap into things like that. Okay. But source is everlasting. Okay. Okay. Enough with that. Full moon, super full moon in Cancer, aka the wolf moon, at 13 degrees. An Aries degree. So we got a whole lot of cardinal elemental energies going on. Goshly dang, all these gosh darn cards are falling. flipping over. As you can see, my lighting is a little bit less than normal. I'm just using candles. So yes, a lot of cardinal elemental energies, so the initiation of things. But since it's a full moon, the culmination of things that were initiated, which in and of themselves is probably going to initiate more, you know, like a domino effect. So fire and water, very primordial energies. Something I was thinking about when it comes to water. It'll come to me. But let's just get into the theme. What is the theme of this super full moon for the Perlinwood Collective? What is the theme of this super full moon in Cancer? That was strong. We got rejuvenate yourself. Know your limits and allow them to guide you. Limitations can teach you to take better care of yourself. You have full permission to rest and say no. Alright. So, with that being said, culminations. Things have probably also been exposed or in the process of being exposed in relation to whatever house Cancer is in for you personally, as well as just on the grander scale. Okay, so I'm not gonna speak too much on it, but y'all's president so y'all tell me y'all's president kidnapped somebody else's president and a wife for resources, like we don't live in the great lands of America. Of course there's more to it. I have a Threads, also I have a Twitter. I don't really, all I know is sometimes I like to post things that I've observed over the years. Like, I would say definitely since 2019, I have used these digital platforms to just document my observations, my inner observations, and how they relate to what goes on in the manifest world that we share. What is the theme? More on the theme. Yes, rejuvenate yourself. Know your limits. Saturn. If isn't already in Aries, it's on its way to moving into Aries. Again, that cardinal elemental energy, cardinal fire. Okay, know your limitations. So a Saturn in Aries. Saturn rules Aquarius and Capricorn. So we have another cardinal elemental vibration going on with the Capricorn energy. Now Aquarius is a fixed air, so know your limitations. Saturn is supposed to symbolize our limitations as within the 3-dimensional reality we all occupy together. What is the theme? So, looking towards your own natal Saturn can give you some details as to how Saturn and Pisces, moving into Saturn and Aries, and how it's going to affect you. Back to the theme, which is the theme of this super full moon in Cancer for the Perlinwood Collective. Pluto, Rebirth. I did make a post, and the notes that I took from the new moon in Cancer back in July 2025, Rebirth was one of the cards. So, what has culminated for us as a collective is we have been reborn, completely transformed, completely different than what we were, even if the manifest world has not caught up. So that's why rejuvenating the self, nurturing, nourishing, mothering the self, the inner child, the inner teen, and hell, the inner young adult, you know? because I would say I'm still a super young adult, but I know that there are others that have been adulting for a little bit longer. And, the young adult time could have been a very traumatic, triggering thing. So, just whatever phase, era of life that needs more nurturing and nourishment, I feel like was culminated under this moon. And Pluto, rebirth energy, was the energy for how the energies of the new moon in Cancer was working in our collective favor. So the energies of this lunation cycle has been supportive to our complete transformation. Just the theme of this full moon, super full moon in Cancer. Okay, we got some nettle. Number 21 is associated with Mars and Pluto, and is action. You see that snake? We just got out of the year of the snake. Mars is currently in Capricorn, I believe. Pluto is currently in Aquarius, I believe. So with that being said, more Saturnian, rejuvenating, know your limits energy. So Mars in Capricorn. Is Mars exalted in Capricorn? Exalted meaning that the energy just works in overdrive, basically. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the actual terms. Basically, Mars in Capricorn is a very powerful placement. That practicality really, really can fortify and create a structure around your limits and taking better care of yourself. Okay, so we have 27 and 21. So we have 9 and 3. Just left a 9-year. The theme for the super full moon in Cancer for us, the permanent collective. Show me the theme. The super full moon in Cancer. Sunshine. One of the first things I spoke on. Light, passion, illumination, motivation, don't dim. Period. So yes, the light, the energy from the sun, being undernourished and undernurtured is like a guarantee that you're dimming your light, because being undernourished, undermothered creates a wounding to where, you just may not even consider your own light as something that matters. And we can't have that. So what has been culminated is that now it's time to take practical action to create the proper structure after we have been reborn. Okay, rejuvenate. Juve. I know in like Latin, maybe, don't quote me, but I'm assuming, has to deal with youth. So re-youthing yourself. Okay. So with that being said, maybe as a youth, whatever you didn't have, now's the time. What you need to do, what needs to be let go of, and all these things have been illuminated under this full moon. And considering that it was a super full moon, it hit even closer to home. Speaking of home, the moon is at home in the sign of Cancer, as well as Taurus. But it's a Cancer full moon, so the moon's in its home. Alright, so how are the energies of the super full moon? Cancer directly affecting us. How are the energies of super full moon Cancer directly affecting us, the Personal Collective? Oop, 2 fell. Oh, goodness gracious. We have opposition and retrograde. So, Cancer in Capricorn. And the full moons, the signs are always opposing. So, potential of butting heads. And then we have retrograde. It says review. It's interesting how the bottom of this person is dark, and then as it goes up, it lightens up. And I feel like that's a good visualization of the lower being connected to the higher. Lower meaning, I guess, consciousness being connected to the higher consciousness. This is a 15, a 6. So we have 3, 6, and 9. And then this is a 53. 5 and 3 is 8. So it's directly affecting us. Confrontation and review. Cancer being the home sign of the moon, and it's a full moon. The energies of this super full moon is giving us a review of all the things that we have confronted and have yet to confront. Do you want me to read from the book? I'll read from the book. Shoot. Opposition. When 2 planets oppose each other across the circle of the zodiac, as the sun and moon do on a full moon, both planets will either be in signs of yang elements, fire and air, or yin elements, water and earth. Stare directly at each other across the earth like partners in a wrestling match. The opposition can feel like a dare or a challenge like boot camp, where a confrontation pushes everyone to grow. Action. This is not a comfortable situation. But that's not the point. You're being challenged to grow. Look at the situation as a dojo, a martial arts training center, and take the training. You don't have to trust the wisdom of the people you are wrestling with, but you can trust the pattern itself in this great cosmic workout. Practice your best skills, stay centered, and operate from wisdom and strategy instead of emotional heat. Listen for hints on how to improve your style. The obstacles in your way are not there to stop you, but to push you toward your personal best. This situation may be set up as a dichotomy, you or them, love or work, your ideas versus their ideas. Question the dichotomy's illusion and look for a third position of resolution, a both and solution versus either or. Okay. If the way forward feels truly blocked, look for another path. Sometimes an opposition, particularly in transit, says you shall not pass this way, find another route. An opposition dares you to proceed. Decide if this path is worth the struggle. This path is worth the struggle. If it is, grow those skills, hold your ground, and fight for what you believe in. You are being asked to prove to yourself and others that you have the skills needed for the next step. Challenge. This situation is an inconvenient growth opportunity, but not a punishment. Decide if it is time to build muscles or to find another path. Gift. The situation offers you a chance to burn through karma if you can continually respond with compassion and tough love from your highest self. Take the high road. And now retrograde. Retrograde gets a bad rap. especially Mercury retrograde. But the retrograde cycle is truly a helpful and necessary time. It's nothing to worry about, just something to work with. A planet is in retrograde when it appears to reverse the direction of its journey across the sky from our perspective here on Earth. As that planet revisits its path, you get to review your life action. Stop the normal patterns of your life and take a break. The roots of this issue are found in the past. Reconsider, revise, repair, and edit. Dig in a drawer to find an old idea to bring forth and rework it. Reconnect with old friends and previous contacts. Address some unfinished personal business. Look again and find lost items and missing information. A delay may be a saving grace in this situation, so check equipment, read the fine print, and make sure that everyone is on the same page and it is safe to move forward. This is an opportunity for a do-over. You don't need to get stuck in the past. If an old problem rears its head, rather than reinscribing dysfunctional patterns, take a different approach. Before you re-engage an old relationship, inventory your heart. Consider what needs to be different this time to make it work. Broach new territory together. If you feel called, put regular work aside and attend to a side agenda, a soul important short-term project that urgently needs every bit of wisdom you've garnered. Challenge. It's not a time, tempting though it may be, to reminisce, pick at old scars, or revisit a painful situation from your past just because you want the emotional charge of anger or the excuse to wallow in memories of betrayals and regrets. You've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and don't need to do it again. Period. Gift. Take a deep breath. This is a moment out of the ordinary flow, an opportunity to use what you've worked so hard to learn. Use your accumulated skills, knowledge, and maturity. Slow, steady, and thoughtful will win this race. Alrighty. So, we've been reborn. The past is meeting with the present, and it's causing a ripple in the future. And we are being confronted with these different levels of timing because everything already exists in the time-space continuum. So, as the past rears its head to come try to bump your head, like it says, take the high road. Build the muscle to take the high road. So if that means you got to climb up some steps, that means you got to climb up a mountain or something, you've built the strength. Either you've already built the strength or it has been made very clear to you that now is the time and you're fully capable of building the strength. How are the energies of the super full moon in Cancer working in our favor and to our advantage? Neptune. Vision. Neptune is also moving in Aries, moving into Aries. If it's not already in Aries, it'll be in Aries soon. Neptune, number 26, another 8. The key word being vision. So we're being given, what is it called? Foresight. Being able to traverse and be able to live within 3 different places in time. So the past, the present, and the future. It unlocks a vision even deeper. Collectively, I feel like the vision is what has been dubbed New Earth. And we are all collectively at a point to where our past is we're being confronted with our past and we're being given the opportunity to go over it and not respond in typical old ways so as to not create a karmic loop that we have to keep going through. Okay, because that's just totes my goats, not what the new Earth is about. We'll read about Neptune. Like a cool blue pearl floating in an inky sea, this planet symbolizes how we float in the ocean of the collective conscious. Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, takes about 165 years to tour the zodiac. On a practical level, it signals water, liquids, oils, and art supplies. On a challenging day, it shows how we avoid gritty reality, whether we escape through our imagination, addictions, or martyrdom. On a lovely day, Neptune speaks of spirituality, imagination, and psychic perception. Action. Pray, meditate, intuit, use your divination. Rest and dream. Activate the right side of your brain and step out of sequential logic into a sense of the infinite. Engage ceremony and ritual. Find a dream or vision and bring it back here to manifest. Because Neptune invokes both intuition and imagination, it can blur the boundaries between the two. It's all too easy to believe that what you want or what you're afraid of is in fact reality, which can make it easy for others to manipulate you by playing to your hopes and fears. Take each step with care. Working with Neptune is like walking in the fog. You can see the present moment clearly. It's just the future and the past that get lost in the hopes and fears. If the world feels too harsh, or if you're feeling easily overwhelmed, tend to your sensitive antenna. Pray rather than worry. Neptune speaks of our psychic permeability, encouraging us to soak up our surroundings. Use that to your advantage and choose your surroundings carefully. Meditate with a group. Tune into the trees, the earth beneath, the sky above, or sacred sites. Immerse yourself in whatever feeds you. Challenge. Neptune overwhelm can turn acceptance into passivity, imagination into illusion, sensitivity and the hunger for spirit into addiction. Watch for water damage. Interesting. Gift. Allow yourself to float, to swim in that great ocean of the collective consciousness. Soak up the presence of divine soul. There is no separation between you and all sentient beings, between you and the realms of gods and spirits. So, how the energies of the super full moon is working in our advantage, in our favor. I would say many of us in this collective have been blessed with clearer vision, clearer inner vision, for sure. And all the praying and the meditating and the divination and just anything Neptunian that has gone on. As far as for the greater good, the highest, the greatest, the holiest, the purest good of all, has led to a clearing of the inner world. So now it's clearer to see, and it's clearer now. The imagination and the intuition is clearer, so actions are clearer and more practical. Mars and Capricorn. And it's easier to bring them down to the manifest world because, like it said, the past and the future are what get fuzzy when hopes and fears are tossed into the mix. So that grounding energy from Mars and Venus and the Sun, all in Capricorn. So the Sun is and has been and will continue emitting light, and light can also be viewed as information, DNA information, and just like we're connected, like the Neptune card said, we are connected to all sentient beings. So all sentient beings are receiving this light information from the Sun. The codes of the Sun right now have to deal with Capricornian, Saturnian themes. Okay, and the full moon in Cancer is just one of the many phases of how that energy is filtered out to all the sentient beings. that receive the light information from the sun. Okay, I got that out. Alrighty. I don't even know how long I've been on here. 30 minutes. 30:03. 3003. Alrighty. How is the energies of the super full moon in Cancer creating a challenge and working as a disadvantage for us as a collective? Alrighty. Oh wow, we have Cancer. Isn't he such a cute crab? Cancer. Keyword being immerse. So as a challenge, I'm not necessarily gonna say it's hard for us as a collective to immerse ourselves, but these things from the past that are coming to butt heads with us out of whatever energy, confusion, fear, whatever the reason. That's what is the people that are having a hard time immersing themselves in the Cancerian vibes is what's going to create challenges if it hasn't already. Okay. Like here in the US corporation. We don't kidnap people. I don't care what they got. Okay? Y'all's president needs a black mom for a hot second. Because what are you doing? Or a black auntie. We're not bums. We don't have to go nowhere. Especially somewhere that also has America in its name. And we don't have to steal. Okay? We're going to be where we're at. And we're going to work with what we got. Immerse yourself in that. Making us all look fucking janky. Okay. Cardinal water. So to initiate something within the water. Okay. We are all born from water. If people haven't understood that. And trauma starts that early. Okay. Can and does start that early. So with that being said, there are some issues that people, like a lot of these issues are from the past. I'm probably going to link a post that I made today on Threads that pinpoints this. Like, there's a fault, the New Madrid fault, which is in America. All I know is Venezuela, and all I know there was an earthquake in 1812, and all of it's connected, is all I gotta say. So I'm probably gonna link it, and you guys let me know what you think about it. But also for us, it may be hard to kind of immerse ourselves because there might be a lot of noise from the past that are creating hopes and fears, that are playing on the hopes and the fears of the collective, which might make it hard to immerse the self also because, we're still building the strength of our new sea legs because the waters are shifting, because the sun is shifting. So all light information is causing a major shift everywhere. Like that's essentially all that Ascension is. We're all just dealing with the software upgrades that the sun is just naturally emitting. I'll stay parallel and congruent and read about Cancer. I do feel like it's helpful. Cancer is symbolized by a crab who asks us to dive deep into the sea of emotion and come back home again. The crab always carries its protective shell, however. This moon-ruled cardinal water sign signifies nutrition in and out of the body and is connected to the breasts and stomach. The sun shines here June 21 through July 22. Action: be the emotional leader and connect with the parent archetype. If you're in need of parenting yourself, reach out to the Divine Mother and Father, to the earth beneath the sky above, and feel held. Once you feel fed by spirit, it becomes easier to accept the ordinary human limitations of the people around you. Like I was saying, not everybody is on the same path. And even if they are on a similar path, not everybody has made the same leaps and bounds at the same time. Once you feel fed by spirit, it becomes easier to accept the ordinary human limitations of the people around you. So by knowing your own limitations, it's easier to know what other people's limitations are too. If you're called to parent others in this situation, whether in love or work, do so with a balanced approach of honest feedback and support and self-care. Nurture without enabling. Model what you want others to do. Nourish the connections with your chosen family and tribe. Nourish bodies, gardens, communities, and your temple's hearth. Cancer calls us to deepen our relationship to home, but not to get stuck in this protective shell. If you need more out of life, you'll have to leave the safety to find what you need. Find a home base or a safe place within your soul, and from that safety, be ready to brave exploration and risk caring with all your heart. Challenge: crabs are hard on the outside but soft and squishy on the inside. Remember that the very defenses you think will keep you safe may actually keep important people out. Soften your shell. You have a backbone and are not protected solely by an exoskeleton. So, even through, like, maybe some of you out there in the collective are having a hard time believing that you actually transformed because your manifest world isn't necessarily matching it yet. But although it is the fiscal new year, it is not the seasonal new year. Okay, we're only in Capricorn season, so we are taking the practical steps, but we still have Aquarius and Pisces season to go through. So just note that. So with all that being said, you have transformed. Okay, you are gaining your sea legs. Your sea legs are gaining strength. Okay. So it's okay to take small little excursions with the new sea legs because that's the only way they're going to get strengthened. You know, and that's what we're doing. We're building the muscle to be able to hold our vision regardless of what our manifest world looks like at the moment, because we know in the future it can only be built off what we're putting in the present moment and what we're alchemizing from the past. Gift: be aware of the psychic pool in which you float. If you feel tossed by the waves or battered by the anxiety of those around you, dive down deeper and find the calm below. Float in the ocean of collective consciousness and feel cradled, nurtured by the Divine Mother, fed and cuddled. So, learning to accept the limitations of ourselves and others. Taking the practical steps to better parent ourselves, better mentor ourselves, you know, just be whoever we need in these moments of complete and utter transformation. This is a random card that fell. Uranus, change. Okay, Uranus, if it's not already in Gemini, will be in Gemini. So how do we best utilize the energies of this super full moon in Cancer 2026? And we got third house, communication. Look at the birds and the flowers. Number 41, the 5. So we have 9, 6, 1, 8. We have 9, 6, 1. And then we have 9, 3, 1, 8, 6, 8, 4, 5. Third house communication. All right, one more card. How do we best utilize the energies of the super full moon in Cancer 2026? Matragnia. I know I'm butchering that, is all I got to say. And this is a 34. So a 7. And the keyword is shape-shifting. Excuse me. It is associated with Saturn and Neptune, which are both going to be in Aries. That cardinal fire. And then we have third house communication. Now you can look to your own personal birth chart to see what sign and planet is your third house. So we have communication shape-shifting. So we have 2 birds on here. And if I'm seeing correctly and seeing everything, there are 2 lady bodies right here. Which is kind of reminding me of the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Which is random. But is it? And then we have the Dragonfly Spirit. Dragonflies, I feel like, have something to do with a rebirth. Don't quote me. But again, there's 2. And the fact that, just from the looks of it, this lady down here, she looks more worldly, like she has a body or whatever, and this looks more like an etheric body. And I feel like that's what shape-shifting is. And then these 2 birds are meeting each other. Is this bird giving the other bird something? So yes. The etheric body has been cleansed. So now it's time for all of that cleansing to be shown through the actual manifest body. Okay. So after that, let's see. Third house. If your chart were a village map, the third house would represent your local neighborhood, primary school, and corner pub. It symbolizes how you learn, communicate, and move around your familiar world based on your sibling-like relationships and the people in your local environment. Action. Check the lines of communication in your thinking process. First, repair any actual technical glitches, loose wires, computer, or phone problems. Then, take this metaphor a step further and look at how your messages are sent and received. Make sure you understand what was intended in the letter or email you received. Ask other people what they heard you say in an exchange. When in doubt, ask for more information and repair any miscommunication. Then take this metaphor in-house and look within. Notice the quality of your thinking. Repair glitches, stretch your mental muscles, and improve the quality of your communication. You may need to learn new ways to express yourself so others hear your true intentions. Think about how you learned to communicate growing up through your relationships with siblings or sibling-like friends, your early school experiences. Investigate how those early relationships formed mental habits that affect the present moment. You may need to get out of your head and get a fresh perspective. Observe and test your assumptions. Check for confirmation bias, the tendency to believe anything that supports your opinions and reject new information that challenges your worldview. Read a spiritual text or ponder a metaphysical concept and let it stretch your mind. Check in with siblings and sibling-like friends. Look for any shadow of rivalry and see if you can switch it to mutual encouragement where all win. It's up to you to reframe this dynamic. Okay. Challenge. Chatter is not the same as communication. Sibling or sibling like rivalry can challenge you to grow in small doses, but don't let it distract you from your self direction. Stay on target. Gift. We are all siblings in the eye of spirit. So let that sink in. Okay, so on a practical level, things from the past may have to do with your siblings or sibling like people, rivalries, and things like that. Like maybe these are things that have culminated, you know. And shout out to the young woman on Threads that, you know, she exposed the F out of her sister and her mom for just a lot of effed up stuff that is just like, how could y'all call yourself family? Shout out to her. I think her name was Jay the Fade. Shout out to her because I'm from the sounds of it, she endured a lot, and she is on the complete other flip side of it all. You know, has a good man that loves her. You know, and a support system, has been to therapy and everything. So that's just an example that I've seen. My own baby sister took her life back in 2025. It's only been a few months. So, you know, it's just a lot. I know that that's some deep, deep stuff when it comes to that. Okay. But if we extend past that and realize we are all siblings under, you know, spirit, we are all sentient beings. We all receive light from the sun, and it causes us to shift from the inside out. So, if you're someone that's dealing with that, that's I hope that's a decent different perspective. You know what I mean? And then we have Metragnia. And yes, definitely pay attention to what has come up for you, because it's sounding like a lot, especially with Cancer. Cancer rules the fourth house, which is the roots, our familial roots, and things like that. So, how you developed your communication style definitely fits into that. So, definitely recommending and suggesting writing down, documenting things that have been coming up for you, especially under the super full moon. Because these are probably things that once you put the effort in them, you will see more clear vision. You will see these results more clearly. Now I'm going to read the shape-shifting card, and then I'm going to let y'all go. I just gotta find the book. It's right here. What number is this? 34. Mitragnia. Upright. Subconscious healing. Synchronizing inner and outer worlds. Shape-shifting. Time travel. Transcendence of illusion. Reversed. Obsessive thoughts. Illusionary facade. Addiction. Self-abandonment. Unable to grow. Stagnancy. We're going to read it for the upright. The guidance is the same regardless, though. Guidance. The balanced side of Metragnia represents the ability to shapeshift and adapt across realities. Like the dragonfly, Metragnia grants us the power to break through the illusionary facade we often accept as reality, providing us the freedom from pain in order to break through limiting illusions. Dragonfly, like Metragnia, helps us initiate subconscious healing from the trauma experienced from endless cycles of pain and suffering. Dragonfly medicine invites us to seek out the parts of our habits that have gone unchanged, unnoticed, and stagnant. Ask yourself, have I tended to the changes I've been wanting to make? Don't get lost in the labyrinth of self doubt. Break free from elusive belief systems that hold back your transformation. And didn't I just say that, y'all? Really tap into your habits, because this cycle, this lunation cycle, really took us deep to really bring those forward, because the mothering aspect of being alive is so crucial. Just parents in general. Okay? Speaking of parents, I think my kids are up and nobody said that. But anyways, um yeah, that's what I have. Really tune in, really be grateful for what comes up, even if it's scary, even if it's hard, even if it feels confronting, even if it feels overwhelming. You're strong enough to see past the illusions. You're strong enough to see the cause of the pain and put your foot down and stop it. And I say that with every bit of my chest. So until next time, y'all.